Okay, so what we're looking at is a 2005 Sportster. Sportsters, either you like them or you don't. We're going to be replacing those Samson ripsaws. They are about 15 years old now. This is an 05, 883. Problem with the Samsons is they crack right around the muffler bracket, right where the bracket is. See that crack? So the pipe is eventually going to fall off on the back side of this. The back side of it is where the actual bracket is, where the bolt holds the pipe onto the bike. I believe it's common with Samsons, but these are old. These are 15 years old, and it's time to go before the pipes fall off the bike. They were rattling, riding around, so I decided to replace them. So this is an 05 with, I don't know, you can tell it's in good shape for what it is. Maybe 15, 17,000 miles on it, something like that. So yeah, that's what we got. That's what we're doing. We will be replacing the ripsaws with these V Twin manufacturing side-by-side / cut. When they're on the bike, they're going to be side-by-side instead of over and under. You can see how they're going to wrap around to the front with both pipes. They are stepped with baffles, very affordable. I believe these pipes shipped were under $250 from JP Cycles. They do have removable baffles, whereas the Samsons, there's the bolts for the baffles. Another thing with these, if you don't have injection, you're going to need bung plugs for the O2 sensors. I do not have them yet. I'm going to have to track them down, figure out the thread size, etc. Track them down somewhere. I might have to go back online and order them, but that's what's going on. V-Twin manufacturing, stepped side by side. I may get a part number in later on that from JP Cycles. Okay, so exhaust removal is straightforward on this. You're gonna have 2 bolts up at the flange. I believe they're 13 millimeter or 1/2 inch. Whichever fits the best. Probably 1/2 inch. And there's going to be 2 bolts here that go through slots. Actually, I have them out already. It's a little carriage bolt type thing with a square shoulder that goes in a slot, and then the nut goes on the back. I believe I use a 13 millimeter to get this out. They go down in there like that. So yeah, we're going to get those pipes off. So it's a matter of 1, 2, 3 bolts of pipe, 2 at the head, at the cylinder head, and 1 down at the bracket. Okay, so we have all the bolts out of the front pipe. This has forward controls on it. The new pipes work for that, but if you remember looking at them on the bench, the back one curves forward, down and around. So I'm suspecting possible hot foot with this foot, but with these pipes, the passenger, I had a passenger melt their boots on these pipes. So we're gonna see how these work, but just wanted to point that out. That's a difference. All right, so this pipe's ready to come off, and that's pretty much how easy it is. You can see there where it was cracked, the black soot around the bracket. There's an old weld repair with a Harbor Freight flux core welder. I had repaired it, I don't know how many years ago. Looks like crap. I never could get a good weld with that welder at Harbor Freight welder, but maybe it's me. But yeah, you can see there the pipe's ready to break off completely and just be done. And it made a lot of noise riding it, but these are straight pipes with no baffles. Other than the rattle of the loose metal, the engine didn't sound any different with that exhaust leak right there. Alright. Okay, we have the pipes off the bike. I used 1/4 inch drive snap-on set up with 13 millimeter for the bolts up at the cylinder head. I used 13 millimeter ratcheting box wrench for the 2 bolts down at the exhaust hanger bracket right there. the back side. Now I'm going to take this cover off to get at this bracket here. That has to come off. Now's a good time to polish all your aluminum and clean detail if you're into that. Yep, that's where we're at. Okay, as you see, we got two out of the three sprocket cover bolts out. This has to come off because the exhaust bracket bolts on into the case underneath it. Right there's the two bolts of the exhaust bracket. We do have our forward control brake linkage lever in the way. I'm going to figure out how I'm going to get that off. Keep in mind I'm not using a manual or anything because the forward controls are add-on and the Samson exhaust was add-on. So that bracket's aftermarket. Forward control may be a Harley kit. I'm not sure. I bought the bike like that. But Sportsters would have had mid control, so there would have been a foot peg out here and a lever right here to move forward. So, and again, you might want to clean all that up, get a blow gun, blow all the dirt out, up to you. Okay, so I have my linkage out of the way for those two bolts right there. What I did was I dropped the master cylinder in the master cylinder bracket. I'm not a motorcycle mechanic, but I am a retired auto mechanic. In my experience, I didn't want to put a big wrench on that. Attempt to get that out of there and have it snap off. I also didn't want to put heat on it because the rubber belt's right there, and the rubber belt will catch on fire with any kind of torch. So that is my reasoning behind dropping the master cylinder versus trying to get that little ball stud Torx bit out. So some may do it different. That's what I chose to do. I have access to those two bolts. We're going to get this bracket off next. Okay, so got our forward control linkage out of the way by dropping the master cylinder and bracket. Two bolts already loose. I want to take this time to mention I have not found Loctite on any of these bolts. So they were good and tight. But no Loctite as of yet. If you want it, this is a rubber mount 05. Whoa, if you want to use Loctite on yours, go right ahead. So there's our exhaust bracket. Samson Ripsaws. The new one. For the V Twin manufacturing, side by sides will go on just like that. We're going to clean up in there though, blow it out, spray some brake clean around. I do not see any major oil leaks on this, which is good, other than residual. But yeah, that's where we're at. Going back together soon. Okay, here we are going back together. We got our bracket mounted, our sprocket cover on, and our forward control, brake lever, master cylinder, everything mounted back up. And took some time to polish the covers. Harley has some of the best polished aluminum in the industry, or at least they did back before they started blacking everything out. It's a joke. But yeah, if you maintain it, this bike's 15 years old. It's 2005, and the aluminum still looks good. But yeah, we're gonna go on with the pipes. All right, here we have our V Twin side-by-side stepped pipes installed on the 05. I do not have the bung plugs for the O2 sensors, or I'd fire it up. Maybe I will wait and get those and fire it up. That's about how it looks. Not bad. Not bad for the money. $250 shipped, give or take. Forward controls work. Okay, so the exhaust plugs, O2 sensor plugs are in the pipes, I have used a Dorman 090-042 CD M18 by 1.5. It is a oil plug for an oil pan. You can get it at AutoZone, Advanced Auto. They're in the bike, but yeah, if your bike doesn't have O2 sensors, run out to AutoZone or Advanced Auto and get a Dorman oil plug. I believe it's an oil plug for a Toyota or a Lexus, something like that. But anyway, again, part number 090-042 CD, and that's, you need 2 of those for the O2 sensor bungs.